Hello y'all, this is 1000 Week Reich, a mod for Hearts of Iron 4 that takes place in 1952. It is an alternate history mod that attempts to bring a sense of grounded and gritty realism to the idea of an Axis victory in the Second World War. We are going to be playing as the European country known as the Slovak Republic. Slovakia in World War II acted as a client state of Germany, and it does not look like that situation will change anytime soon, but there is hope. That hope is to perhaps return to the concept of Czechoslovakia, which may be the nation's only chance at independence and redemption. At the start, we get an event explaining the background of the nation we are playing as. Basically, in 1939, the first Slovak Republic gained its quote independence by becoming a German puppet. During World War II, the country did not play a significant role, but the Reich did exploit the Slovakian economy, and this led to the Slovak state becoming bankrupt after the end of the war in the East. Moving up to the present day, Slovakia faces the issues of a destroyed economy, a non-existent army, and Czechoslovak rebels that are hiding out in the mountains nearby. We begin with four national spirits, and they are remnants of Czechoslovakia, Klinka influence, German influence, and debt to the Germans. The Slovak Republic is a puppet of the Greater German Reich, and that means we are part of the Naya Ardung faction. Also, our country leader is Josef Tiso. Tiso historically was a Catholic priest and politician. He was the first and only president of the First Slovak Republic in real life from 1939 to 1945. He collaborated quite a lot with the Germans, and in particular, he helped them conduct crimes against humanity in the region. After World War II, he would be convicted of treason in 1947 and was executed the same year. Now for the military. It's not that big. In the army we have 4 divisions, 3 infantry and 1 armored. We have a single air wing and 4 commanders. There are 2 generals and 2 field marshals. As for technology, we have outdated guns, basic anti-tank weapons motorized, up-to-date APCs and IFVs, the first type of main battle tank, basic anti-air and artillery. And for aircraft, the latest research we have is from 1945. Something I will point out is that our soldiers have unique textures, especially on their helmets. It is nice to see that extra level of detail being put in by the mod developers. In the focus tree, let's complete the second election, Chairman Tuka, focus on culture and end to the cultural status quo. That last one is going to have long-term effects on deciding who can lead the country. In the Decisions tab, we have a couple things to keep track of, and they are Slovakian debt. Yes, we're going to have to play Debt Paying Simulator, and the other thing to point out is our military professionalism, which currently is terrible. Netherlands fights Indonesia, and we just had our second election. You can guess who won when there is only one party on the ballot. The Chairman Tuka focus is done and far away from us, in the USSR, at least what's left of it. Their leader, Lavinci Beria, has died. With the elections over, Wojciech Tuka has become the head of the government as its chairman. Rumors are going around saying that President Tiso has kneeled down to the Germans and that the appointment of Tuka was ordered from Germany. This is true, but the citizens cannot be allowed to attack the president like this. We're going to start using our political power to use decisions that will in the long run pay back our debt to the German Reich, and besides that, we are going to use command power to improve the professionalism of our military. Who are we? Slovakia's overlord has been sending its citizens to the country for some time now, and different members of our government have taken opposing views on the matter, and they either advocate for things to remain as Slovak as possible, or that the nation should embrace Germanization. To complete the focus into the cultural status quo, we will side with the latter group. With that focus out of the way, we will do other ones such as excuses for Germanization, Ministry for Education and National Enlightenment, focus on the economy, and go with the secretary. One of our representatives went to Berlin to meet with a few people from the Reich. The Germans are proposing to send, quote, colonists to Slovakia as their efforts to Germanize the Slovaks increase. We have no choice but to accept. their proposal. To the south, in the Balkans, the regime in Bulgaria under Christo Lukov manages to stay in power despite wide-scale riots and open rebellion. Einstein visited Israel, then got shot in Israel. Meanwhile, the new Slovakian, spearheaded by Chairman Tuka's cabinet, is coming. Many German colonists have started arriving, and it is too late for the president to stop this, because if he tried to do so after they got to the country, Germany will most likely be very upset. We must choose someone to help us with the awful state of the economy. We have two options. One is the governor of the Slovak National Bank, who is a great economist. However, he might prove to be disloyal. And for option number 2, there is the party secretary. While he is a good organizer, he is not an economist at all, but he is loyal. Let's go with the secretary. With that decided, we are going to complete the focuses: the Slovak Industrial Revolution, keep Eastern Slovakia rule, first wave of new jobs, puppet to the chairman, the military and Hlinka sector, end of economic reforms, and market expansions when possible. We will also continue paying off our debt because it will benefit us to do so. It is 1953 and the Führer has died. The Senate is now in charge of the Greater German Reich. Adolf Hitler's death is going to have pretty big ramifications for us, as the Slovak Republic is a puppet of Germany, as stated earlier. The Minister of Finances and the Minister of Economy deliver a speech, and they both comment on recent state-sponsored jobs as well as an increase in foreign investments. It seems that the economy is slowly making its way out of the hole it is currently in. The leader of the independent state of Croatia, Ante Pavelić, has been assassinated. Following the news, cities across Croatia and Bosnia have descended into chaos. The funeral of Adolf Hitler is held. With that said, the Reich he helped create may possibly start unraveling soon. In Eastern Europe, the Reich commissariats of Moscow, Ukraine, and the Caucasus have sort of, exploded. The Ukrainian collapse is taking place, and other than that, the Kingdom of Hungary and the Kingdom of Romania have gone to war with one another. With puppet to the chairman finished, we now have access to some special secretary decisions. To the south, a civil war has started between the Socialist Republic of Serbia, who is communist, and the Serbian Social Republic, who is fascist. Bosnia declares its independence and has begun clashing with Croatia. The Bosnians lost, and so now they will have to deal with the guy who plans on restoring the previous status quo Ante Pavelić set up. Hungary was defeated in their war with Romania, and this means the Romanians will be the ones who control Transylvania. And besides that, the Hungarian government may possibly collapse as a result of this loss. We can't continue with the economic reforms because we need to pay off our debt first. To kill time while we do that, we will complete a few army-related focuses. Ukraine has a civil war, and Hermann Göring has consolidated his political influence to the point he is seen as the new paramount leader of Germany. Although, on that note, there is still a major issue in the form of factionalism within the ruling class. The Hungarian Revolution has occurred, which means one of our neighbors now have the Social Democrats in charge of their country. The ruling party of Hungary changes again, as they just had elections, I think, and that has resulted in the conservatives coming to power. In other news, we are very close to paying off our debt. The German Civil War has started between the Greater German Reich and what looks like the Army and the Waffen-SS. This conflict is going to greatly affect the Slovak Republic. With the violence in Germany proper, the Southern Uprising has started within the territory of the general government. The Lviv Liberation Army and the Polish Home Army have emerged, and they are hoping to push out the German occupiers. With the start of the German Civil War, we will now do to focus Germany in chaos, the Slovak Spring, and when all the prerequisites are met, we will start return to German rule. With Germany busy punching itself, our citizens have started to oppose the ruling regime. We are unable to effectively control all of the cities and towns the protests are taking place in, as we can't call in German assistance at the moment. Adding to this, no law has been passed through the Diet as of late as well. President Tiso has taken all of these events as an opportunity to replace Chairman Tuka with someone else. His successor will be a little bit more moderate. There is some world news about the Slovak Spring. Clashes are taking place around the capital, and it is unclear who will come out as the victor once all the fighting is over. A royalist coup has succeeded in not so far away Romania, and now King Michael will be in charge. The Czech resistance government rises up in the Prague uprising. If they succeed in their goals, they may pose a threat to Tiso's Slovak Republic. Taking advantage of the German pandemonium, Slovenia peacefully breaks away from the army junta who controlled the land the newly independent country was in. What do we need for the defense of Slovakia? We have 3 choices here. Let's go with the one that will give us 3 land forts in the western part of the nation. The Czech resistance government is no longer a thing, so that's perhaps good for us, but on the other hand, the German factions have now found themselves fighting against the Swiss Liberation Army and the Benelux Revolutionary Movement. There is a coup in the emergency Wehrstadt, and I think Heinrich Himmler, who led the SS, died somehow. Polish democracy has been restored, the general government is gone, and the Swiss got a ceasefire with the Germans. We're finally done repaying our debt. With political power no longer going to that constantly, we will be able to do some secretary decisions. The plan was to return to German rule, but I am not so sure how that will go now, because the Toronto Accord and the USA, led by Douglas MacArthur, have decided to intervene in the German Civil War. A couple of the German factions make a compromise and peace out. But clearly, this is not the case with the Schutzstaffel and the Greater German Reich, led by Hermann Göring. Slovakia's economic reforms are finished, and while the Minister of the Economy is suspected of being a puppet of the chairman of the government, he will be kept around due to his rather popular policies. We're going to get things over with in the Decisions tab by completing the rest of the Secretary Decisions and by finishing the final reforms for our military. The German Reich is getting beat up hard. The SS are stuck in some province somewhere and are refusing to die. Meanwhile, the Toronto Accord is storming in from Denmark and the Low Countries. A nuclear weapon is detonated over the city of Munich. I'm not gonna lie, that seems a little bit like overkill. The Accord has reached our border. We can even see them battling with whatever is left of the Wehrstadt. The German Reich is gone, and a focus gave us a mountain division, but besides that, we can now complete return to German rule, which is sort of awkward given the circumstances. In the aftermath of the fall of Germany, a refugee crisis has started. Meanwhile, Belgium, the Netherlands, and the Czech Republic have been made back into countries, and the Slovak Republic is going to become National Socialist soon. The Czechs declare war on us for some reason. However, since they came back into existence as a nation not too long ago, we should have a significant numbers advantage. Josip Tiso managed to survive the Slovak Spring, and he will remain as the leader of the country. He proclaims the Germans to be the, quote, real Slovak brothers. Some say this is the birth of Germanic Slavism. Due to a focus, the flag has changed, and so has the ruling party ideology. In the focus tree, we will complete the 3rd election. Mach and his government purge disloyals, a good puppet, and a government of knives. Just as we were getting things underway, the Czech-Slovak War ended, which is sort of strange. What is even more strange is Tiso trying to make the Republic a puppet of a nation that doesn't really exist anymore. The 3rd election is held. Alexander Mach will be the new chairman of the government, and Tuka, his predecessor, is expected to withdraw from politics very soon. The USA and the Toronto Accord faction it leads declares war on us, but as we are landlocked, it will be practically impossible for them to reach us. That was Josip Tiso, Slovakia, and 1,000-week Reich. Considering the scenario we are in, think of it like a rump state for the German Reich that clings to the concept of Germanic Slavism. The video is going to stop here. If you enjoyed the mod, check it out in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment because it helps the algorithm recommend the video more. Have an awesome day. I'll see y'all later. Bye.